So I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So what does it mean to pay a Jack DeJohnette tribute to you guys?
Oh, man. You know, I met Jack when I was 14, and...
3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty life-changing moment. And to witness that at 14, to see him play like that in a little room at a master class with 2 other drummers was... I never knew the drums could be played like that. So I consider Jack a serious mentor since I was a young boy, and how we've grown over the years and become friends, and what I've learned from him. And it's a very heavy honor, very, very heavy honor.
Yeah, that's an understatement to say it's an honor. This is amazing. Jack is like the best jazz musician living today, so here we are playing for him.
Yeah.
That's right. Just, playing for Jack, and I grew up as a kid listening to Jack with Miles. And then as time went on, I saw him playing with all different types of configurations. So I figured, well, he was one of the guys that inspired me to go all over the place and playing with different types of music and different, musicians, going from avant-garde to swing to funk to new age, all of that, because he encompasses all of that. So that's it.
Yeah, and I remember when I was a little kid, my father bringing home Dreamweaver with Charles Lloyd. And I'm like, who's this cat that sounds like Tony and Elvin?
Yeah.
And then I ended up meeting Jack at 16.
Yeah, you met him.
I think you studied with Charlie Perry too.
I studied with Charlie Perry.
And
that's where
Charlie
I met him.
had this clinic. Were you there?
Yeah.
You were at that clinic?
I was at on Long Island in West Hampstead?
No, at Hofstra.
No, I was at the one at Charlie's house.
Okay, this was at Hofstra. So he had a 3-week clinic, and the last week was Jack. Like it was Bob Moses 1 week, Charlie did his thing 1 week, and then Jack. And I ended up playing trio with Jack playing piano.
Wow.
And played a lot with him. And that was kind of the start of my career right there, And like I had known about it for about 6 months, and it got me practicing like 4-6 hours a day, gearing up for that, so. And we've stayed in touch over the years, and Jack has done a lot for me, and so he's this monumental figure for me also.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, when I first met Jack, and we moved here on July 4th, 1979, and about a month later, I get a knock on the door, and here's Jack and Lydia, and I couldn't believe it. Here's somebody I'd known as a superstar, and I knew that he lived in the area, but somehow he found out that a guy who makes instruments came into town, and he wanted to check it out. So I invited him in. I showed him my studio that I had just set up and all these instruments. He started playing on some gamelan instruments. He took one back with him and he wanted to try it out. And after he left, my mother-in-law, who was there, said, "Who is that?" I said, "That's Jack DeJohnette, man. He played with Miles." And she said, "How do you know it was him? He took one of your instruments." "How do you know he's going to come back? How do you know that, Jack DeJohnette?" I said, "That's Jack DeJohnette." That was funny.
Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me okay? My name is Dan Leader, and most of you know me as the owner of Bread Alone. And I've been feeding a lot of you for a long time. And I decided that tonight I would finally tell the secret of what makes Bread Alone so good. And that is, I listen to lots and lots and lots of jazz. So much jazz that the people who are close to me, I drive them a little crazy. But I have been listening to Jack DeJohnette since I was 16, and it is such an honor for me to be here tonight, and a pleasure. And I just have to say I'm a little pins and needles because I've been standing there waiting to come out, and I'm standing next to so many of my heroes, the heroes of jazz. And when you see who's coming tonight, who's here tonight, you will know that this is a night that you will never forget. So having said